Look, I think the Chicago Bears are just given a massive gift, and coming out of the combine, so many rumblings that a lot of teams have changed their opinion. It's shifted on a particular player coming out of Indy. And I want to talk about Mason Graham out of the University of Michigan. News is coming from the combine that the guy's going to drop. He very well might be there at number 10. The Bears met with him at the combine. And before I get into this, let's kind of talk about the climate that we're in right now. The Chicago Bears have just made 2 trades to get 2 Pro Bowl guards to really fill out this offensive line. We still need a center. And what this enables us to do is to have a little bit of an open mind still at our number 10th overall pick. And we can still go offensive line. We can also go Austin Genty. There's all these schools of thought. But every single draft, a player plummets down the draft board. Teams kind of shift their opinions on them. And the Bears are in a unique situation right now, especially with our 2 second-round picks that are very high up in the second round. It almost gives us like an extra first-round pick or maybe 2. So it's important to keep an open mind. And let's just look at who Mason Graham is as a player. This guy's an absolute beast. You're looking at a guy at 21. He earned second-team All-American and a 2-time All-Big Ten honoree during his 3 seasons at Michigan. Talking 6'3", 320 pounds as an athlete, and the guy recorded 3.5 sacks in 2024 and 9 sacks for his college career. His numbers go way further than that. I'm going to talk about how many times he pressured the quarterback last year, and I think there's really 2 things to consider here. First of all, Mel Kiper absolutely loves the guy. If you watch Mel Kiper, he loves almost everybody. But this is what he had to say about Graham. I love Graham's technique, his leverage that gives him an advantage at the point of attack, and interior offensive linemen struggle with his power and quickness. Graham has strong and active hands. He's proved effective against the run and pass from inside. And the guy had 2 sacks against Minnesota in September, but managed just 1.5 the rest of the season. And kind of a second thing too, GM Ryan Poles, he is showing that he's a man of his word this offseason. And on top of the aggressiveness that he talked about for the offensive line, he also made it really clear during his press conference during the combine that the Bears need to find a game-changing defensive tackle that can help open up opportunities for defensive ends, right? And it was originally thought that it would take an absolute miracle for Graham to be on the board at number 10. The Bears did meet with him at the combine. He is coming in for a top 30 visit. And now word is out that teams might pass on him due to physical measurables outside of his production. In a vacuum, his physical tools, they are not elite. But it's the eye test. The guy is just so instinctual, crazy motor. And this also reminds me of something that the Bears have needs for sure elsewhere. Offensive line for sure. Some of those needs have been abated. And many of you still have your ears covered. You're like, I don't want to hear anything else regarding the number 10 pick besides offensive line. But we're kind of in a different situation here, and having the flexibility to take the best player available, it's 100% needed because players drop. And the goal is to raise the level of the whole talent, the talent level of the whole roster here on this Chicago Bears team. And it's been rumored that University of Michigan defensive tackle might actually be available at number 10. I want to reiterate that again. And once again, before you say no way that's going to happen, let's do a little history lesson. Remember that Rome Odunze, he was still there at number 9 last year. The Bears got their number 1 and number 2 guy off of their draft board. Looking way back, I might be aging myself, but I remember this. Remember when the guy named Brian Urlacher out of New Mexico State, I believe? He was still there for us at number 9 in the year 2000. It happens. And the beauty of it is that many pundits had Graham in the top 5 coming in. Absolute beast at the University of Michigan, a main reason they won that natty. And he just had one thing that says who he is as a player. Last year, he had 34 pressures on the quarterback last year. That's absolutely ridiculous. And the guy's measurables aren't perfect, and it's creating some hand-wringing among teams that are selecting before the Bears. And I just love this. It's almost guaranteed that a really great player is going to drop to the Bears at number 10. The Bears are putting themselves in a unique situation that they can pivot and take the guy that's going to elevate them to the most degree. And also we're looking at a situation as well with these moves on the offensive line that they've made. New head coach Ben Johnson, he's looking to win right now. He's looking for immediate impact players, and if the right guy isn't there for offensive line with the number 10 overall, we're just going to pick the best player and be able to supplement the line, bring some guys in. There's so many good choices in the second round that now we have a luxury that the guys can ease in and actually learn and build. So when these veterans are ready to go and make money elsewhere, we've got just a posse of youngsters that are ready to come up and take over and give us sustained longevity, give us sustained success here. So I'm not ruling out an offensive lineman in the first round, but let's have an open mind. And if a guy like this becomes available at number 10, we've got to absolutely pull the trigger. 2 high picks in the second round, more than enough ammo to come out of this with a stud defenseman, and 2 blue chip offensive linemen still that can be developed the right way, as I just illustrated. And we're looking at Trey Smith being franchise tagged in Kansas City. That means Poles had to shift his attention to other potential names. And this was talked about before the Bears made these 2 moves. So much talk about, Drew Dahlman being the guy, Aaron Banks being the guy from the 49ers, Colts guard Will Fries. It was expected that the Bears are going to pull the trigger on 3 players. They just picked the wrong guards, and we had the blessing of getting Jonah Jackson in and Tooney in from Kansas City, and we ended up paying them pretty much just over what we would have paid Trey Smith. 2 Pro Bowlers for the price of 1. I think it turned out beautiful. Also the Bears brass. They've said that they're going to be aggressive in free agency, and they have with the first 2 players. I'm looking for them to take one more big swing. It very well might be Drew Dahlman. It very well might be for one of these stud defensive ends that are available in free agency. I don't think we're going to be looking at like a Myles Garrett acquisition, but I think we very well could still have Trey Hendrickson still on the board as a possibility. I think that's definitely possible. And we've got guys just looking that Poles is not dumb. He knows all of his solutions won't be found in free agency. That isn't the goal. His hope is for one of these players to drop. And if you're looking at Austin Genty, if you're looking at, the stud tackle out of LSU that we all are talking about, if you're looking for somebody like Mason Graham, that definitely might drop, in my opinion. We're just in a really good situation to pivot. We have the freedom to take a defensive lineman. We have the freedom to take a running back. We have the freedom to take the best offensive lineman available. Plus, we have those 2 early second rounders. We've just got a bevy of draft picks, and I could even see Chicago packaging those picks to even possibly trade back up into the first and get another blue chipper. This is such a good situation, you guys. Mason Graham is an absolute beast. I think if he drops at number 10, he's going to definitely be a consideration. Also, keeping into account that GM Ryan Poles specifically said that they were targeting the defensive tackle position in this draft and in free agency. Beautiful situation to be. You guys let me know in the comments if you think that Graham is the right pick there, if he's there. Let's kind of do it this way. Who would you rather have? Mason Graham, Austin Genty, or the best offensive lineman that drops to us that's available at number 10? And also tell us who you think that guy might be. I love this kind of discussion in the comments. Let's have it, and bear down. You guys are awesome, and I will talk to you soon. See ya.